All right, you're watching RT live from Moscow. Let's get back to our guest here, Patrick Henningsen, a geopolitical analyst for the website UK Column. Thanks for coming back. We just had some technical difficulties, and we've now got a more solid connection with you. Of course, we're talking about this summit of the non-aligned movement ongoing in Tehran, a massive regional gathering of the neighborhood there of states and countries. Some saying it flies in the face of the UN. We're talking about the countries that are attending, those that are not. Also, the fact that the UN Secretary General is there, Ban Ki-moon. He's been granted permission as he's there to visit Iran's atomic facilities. Will that lead to any movement, do you think, on the issue of Tehran's nuclear ambitions?
Well, it's certainly a positive thing for Iran to have the Secretary General of the United Nations in attendance and also being allowed access around the country to look at some of these facilities in question. So this is definitely going to shake the U.S.'s Security Council kind of dominance a little bit. But if you look at the strapline of the NAM conferences, a lasting peace through joint global governance. And this is not alien to the United Nations mission as well. So if NAM might look like a competing organization on the surface, but I think you have the same kind of global governance, globalist kind of agenda that's being pushed behind it. So only time will tell, Rory, exactly the significance of this organization.
Well, certainly only time will tell, but it also depends on whether or not officials, let's say in New York or the UN, are willing to listen to him. We all know that Kofi Annan recently, he resigned from being the UN and Arab envoy in the conflict in Syria, saying that he was tired of the tit-for-tat arguments going on between both sides. So it remains to be seen whether Ban Ki-moon will be taken seriously during any of this. I must ask you, though, regarding the whole summit of the non-aligned movement, regional guys appearing in Tehran right now for this summit, we've got words from the US State Department, fairly tough words, saying that, quote, "We frankly don't think Iran is deserving of these high-level delegations that are going to the summit in Tehran." What do you make of that?
Well, looking beyond Iran, look, NATO and its allied partners are apparently ignorant of the reality that the rest of the world now views the Anglo-American empire, so to speak, and all its intelligence agencies like the CIA, etc., as a cancer that has spread through the Middle East and Asia and is threatening the existence of the prosperity of those countries in those regions, including the BRICS countries and emerging economies like India. So, I think it's an insular view in the West. They really have barricaded themselves, in a corner. There's a lot of things developing, a lot of new markets and new economic partnerships being forged. And either the West is going to come to this table or they're going to be left on the outside and only with the military stick to beat the rest of the world with. So that's the kind of way I see this developing right now.
Patrick, before I run out of time, I must ask you one more question here. As we are talking about the summit of the non-aligned movement meeting in Tehran right now, what kind of effect do you think could this meeting have on the stability of the volatile Middle East region?
Well, it does give a voice to other differing opinions, especially on the issue of Syria. I mean, if this meeting had happened 1 year ago, Rory, they would be talking about Libya, because that's exactly the sort of aggression that was a NATO-sponsored project. Now, Syria is slightly different. The West is using the back door through proxies and funding guerrillas and using the Gulf states to do their dirty work, I'll have to say. But it's an overall pattern of instability that has really been pushed by a kind of neo-colonial agenda. Syria doesn't want to be an outpost for a Western military expansion, like Bahrain, for instance, is a military outpost for the United States. So looking at the reorganization of the Middle East and Persia, that's kind of the questions that we really should be asking ourselves right now. What's the purpose of sovereign nations in the region? Are they just going to kowtow to the West and the imperial aspirations of America, or be independent and be prosperous together?
Patrick Henningsen, a geopolitical analyst from the website UK Column, live in London. Can't thank you enough for coming on RT today.
Thank you.